Welcome to the Lord Empowerment Channel. If you've never come across this before, chances are your answer is no. It looks remarkably unusual, resembling something out of a treasure hunt movie. However, this is no work of fiction. The Ethiopian Bible stands as one of the most enigmatic and contentious books to have ever existed. Even the country itself is ensconced in mysteries that defy explanation, but that's a tale for another time. Ethiopia boasts one of the oldest civilizations in the world and holds the distinction of being the only African country that escaped colonization. As a result, Ethiopians can trace their lineage all the way back to Ham, one of Noah's sons. This connection has even been corroborated by Jewish sources. However, our focus today is not on the country itself, but rather on the remarkable possessions it holds. Within Ethiopia lie some of the most ancient Bible scrolls ever discovered, predating even the renowned King James Version. In addition to the 66 books that constitute the King James Bible, the Ethiopian Bible consists of 88 books, including works that are absent in other religious denominations. These scrolls encompass the Old Testament, the New Testament, and even previously unseen texts. What makes this all the more intriguing is that Ethiopia possessed these scrolls long before Christianity was officially introduced to their society in the 4th century. In other words, Christianity did not arrive as a foreign religion imposed on the nation, as was the case with many other countries. Instead, it had already taken root in Ethiopia by the 4th century. Ethiopia has been a bastion of Christianity since then. In the middle of the 6th century, the Egyptian traveler, monk, and historian Cosmos Indicopoulos documented Ethiopia as a Christian nation during his visit. He observed how the rulers opened their borders to Christian refugees fleeing persecution from kingdoms and empires that opposed Christianity. Certain Ethiopian tribes have been worshipping the Christian God for over 3,500 years, making the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, locally known as Tiho, the oldest organized Christian body in the world. Additionally, Ethiopia possesses one of the earliest illustrated Christian books ever discovered. This book, a portion of the Gospels written in Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian language, was found in 2010 in a monastery atop an Ethiopian mountain. According to the Keber Nagast, Ethiopia's holy book, in the 10th century BCE, the renowned biblical Queen of Sheba journeyed to Jerusalem seeking counsel from the famous King Solomon. This account is even recorded in the accepted biblical canon. However, what the Bible did not explicitly mention is that these two rulers had a son named Menelik together. Queen Sheba took the boy back to Ethiopia, where he became the first emperor. In 2012, experts examined the genetic makeup of many Ethiopians and discovered evidence supporting the notion of Sheba's journey to Jerusalem and her son's birth there. It is believed that Egyptian, Israeli, or Syrian individuals may have intermixed with the native Ethiopian population approximately 3,000 years ago, during the supposed reign of Queen Sheba, further corroborating the narrative. Despite its rich historical credentials and authenticity, the Ethiopian Bible is often disregarded and excluded from the canon of holy books. In fact, many people, including believers of the same faith, have never even heard of the Ethiopian Bible. This speaks to the extent of efforts made to discredit and conceal its existence. This raises the question, why? To understand the reasons behind this deliberate marginalization, further exploration is necessary. Keywords, tags, Ethiopian Bible, Ethiopian scrolls, ancient civilization, lineage, Ham, Noah, Christianity, Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Queen of Sheba, King Solomon, Menelik, Holy Books, Canon G's Illustrated Christian Book, Origins, marginalization, mysterious, controversial, African history. Let's delve into a brief historical account of the Bible to understand that it has undergone changes over time. In the past, there existed various versions of different biblical texts, as well as diverse interpretations and ideas concerning their meaning. Originally written in Hebrew, the Bible was later translated into other languages. The first translation from Hebrew to Latin was accomplished by a man named Saint Jerome around 400 AD. His work, known as the Vulgate, became the principal Latin version of the Bible. The Vulgate consisted of 27 books in the New Testament and 39 books in the Old Testament. During that period, it was referred to as the Hebrew Bible. In the first century, many books were written about the life and teachings of Jesus. However, not all of these books were genuine. Some can be likened to fan fiction novels based on accounts of Jesus' life. The problem arose when these fictional books were released to the public and started to be believed as true. With no internet for quick fact-checking, false information spread faster than accurate news. Consequently, numerous fake books circulated in society, causing harm. This situation concerned early Christian church leaders. To address the issue, they convened at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD and the First Council of Constantinople in 381 AD. Their objective was to determine which books should be included in the New Testament. They concluded that a book would be considered scripture if it was authored by one of Jesus' followers or an individual who had witnessed his teachings. Additionally, the book had to be written in the first century and align with the rest of the Bible. Over time, several modifications have been made to what is now known as the Holy Bible. However, one of the most significant changes occurred during the reign of King James I in the early 17th century. Despite the existence of the Vulgate for over 500 years, there were still numerous versions and accounts of the Bible circulating. This concerned the king, who desired a version that would unify religious differences and reinforce his power. Several priests also advocated for changes, claiming that some existing translations were incorrect. To address this pressing issue, King James I appointed 47 experts to review the various Bible translations already available. These experts were divided into 6 groups and worked independently on different parts of the project for 7 years. They were required to follow strict rules to ensure impartiality and utilized various tools to create a scientifically accurate Bible that remained faithful to the original languages. When the priests and the king examined the work of these experts, they found similarities despite the geographical separation of the groups. As a result, they approved the translation, attributing the outcome to divine guidance. In 1611, the King James Bible was published, benefiting from advancements in printing technology, which made it one of the most accessible Bible versions at the time. As a result of the edits made in the King James Bible and the original Vulgate translation by Saint Jerome, certain books were excluded from the Bible, as it is commonly known among most Christians today. However, the Ethiopian Bible still retains all the scriptures. Now that we have explored a brief overview of the Bible's history, let's address the main question regarding why the Ethiopian Bible was rejected. There are numerous reasons behind the non-acceptance of the Ethiopian Bible, but the primary reason is the inclusion of additional books known as pseudepigrapha. Pseudepigrapha refers to falsely attributed works or texts whose claimed author is not the true author, often attributing the work to a figure from the past. Similar to fan fiction, pseudepigrapha is considered non-canonical by most other Christian traditions. The books that were removed or rejected were those that scribes and theologians of the time recognized as not divinely inspired. Many people, both before and after Jesus, wrote these books with malicious intentions. It is understandable why these writings were excluded to prevent the propagation of false information and safeguard the truth for future generations. The Ethiopian Bible now consists of two canons, the broader and narrow canons. Before discussing them, let me provide a definition of a canon. A canon refers to a generally accepted law, rule, principle, or criterion by which something is judged. With that understanding, it is considered canon for a phone to have one screen, a country to have one president, or a channel to have more subscribers. The broader canon of the Ethiopian Bible, which is more popular and well-known, comprises 81 books. This version includes texts such as Enoch, Jubilees, 3 books by Mabes, the Epistle to Clement, 4 books of Kodos, and many more. It is the focus of this video and has gained some fame. On the other hand, the Narrow Canon was established by Emperor Haile Selassie, who proclaimed it as the official and completed version of the Ethiopian Bible. The Narrow Canon consists of 72 books and was overseen by the emperor himself. The exact reasons for this narrower version are not explicitly mentioned, but further research on the internet can shed light on this topic. The Narrow Canon excludes certain scriptures found in the broader version, which contains everything the Narrow Canon has and more. The broader canon has not been reprinted since the early 20th century, indicating controversies and differing opinions even within that canon. Having two different contribute to the lack of acceptance. The Ethiopian Bible exemplifies how the Bible has changed over time, contrary to popular belief. It is not just one book, but rather a collection of texts and experiences written over many years. Different religious groups, including the verified or accepted ones, have a history of including or excluding different texts based on theological, personal, or historical grounds. The Ethiopian Bible shares similarities with Catholic and Orthodox Bibles, but it includes a few extra Old Testament books. These additional books were likely written in the last few hundred years BC, late in the time of the Old Testament books, and focus on the history and structure of the Ethiopian Church. The Ethiopian Bible's rejection could also be attributed to its written language, Ge'ez, which poses difficulties for non-speakers, the lack of translations, and unique practices associated with it. Another reason for its rejection in some circles could be politics. During the early days of Christianity, power and politics were significant concerns for the Roman emperor. Scrolls that didn't align with their preferred narrative were excluded. The Bishop of Rome even instructed priests to destroy non-biblical scrolls. However, many of these scrolls were hidden in vats near the Dead Sea and discovered in the 1940s, explaining the differences between the Bibles. In recent years, there has been a growing interest in the Ethiopian Bible as people seek to understand its uniqueness and uncover its truths. Ethiopian churches have made efforts to make it more accessible by translating it into different languages and conducting academic studies on it. Despite facing challenges such as attacks by Muslims, Italian invasions, and even a fire that burned the church where the Bible was housed in the 1930s, the Ethiopian Bible has survived, adding to its mystique. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next videos.